The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
17 News at Sunrise begins with breaking news. Here's Maddie Jansen and Alex Fisher.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, and this morning we're following breaking news of a major crash involving a couple of Bakersfield police officers.
So the crash happened on South Vineland and Muller Roads just outside of Bakersfield earlier this morning. 17's Chris Burton joins us from the scene with what he has learned. Chris, any updates?
Well, Maddie, Alex, it does appear that most of the vehicles that are down at the crash site have now departed at this hour, but the investigation continues into an injury crash involving Bakersfield Police Cruiser. Now, that is all the information the Bakersfield Police Department has confirmed with us at this hour. But we're going to show you video right now of that cruiser, and you can see the damage to the driver's side. And the crash happened at South Vineland and Muller Roads in southeast Bakersfield. We also have seen a few ambulances leave the scene, as well as a helicopter. There is a SUV down there that also has sustained some damage to it at the scene. But again, there are still a lot of unanswered questions at this hour. First and foremost, how this crash happened and what led up to it. Now, we will be out here delivering you updates as they come in. We hope to hear more soon, but this investigation may be ongoing for a while. We know that these types of investigations, when officers are involved, they do tend to last a little longer. So right now, South Vineland is shut down. We're at East Wilson. It's shut down here and for a mile in every direction. If you live in the area, my best advice would be to avoid it. We'll bring you updates as they come, but for now, live in southeast Bakersfield, Chris Burton, 17 News.
More breaking news to talk about. A man was killed in a crash when he hit a tree near Bakersfield High School overnight. It happened on California Avenue around 10 o'clock. Police say the man was speeding down the road when he veered into the center median and crashed into a tree. Officers say the man died in the crash. No other cars were involved.
And now to one of our signature issues here at KGET. We call it Kern's Sober Reality. A man was sentenced yesterday for causing a crash nearly 2 years ago that killed 2 of his passengers. Prosecutors say Andrew Fenderson was under the influence of cocaine and marijuana at the time of the crash. 17's Michaela Armstrong has reaction from one victim's family.
Nearly 2 years have passed since the deadly crash on Ming Avenue that left 2 dead and 2 injured. However, the pain feels the same for the families of 33-year-old Daniel Davalos and 21-year-old Destiny Munoz, often called Maya, who died at the scene.
Had he thought about others before driving and had a better choice and followed the law, Maya would be here today.
The night of the crash, Fenderson was speeding at around 112 to 119 miles per hour. The 4-cylinder $50,000 car crashed into a wooden pole, splitting it in half, leaving a third passenger suffering from major injury and Fenderson losing both legs. Police say Fenderson was impaired by cocaine and marijuana. Fenderson returned to court Wednesday in a wheelchair. He was sentenced to more than 14 years in prison. Fenderson apologized to the family, but Ali says it does not bring back her daughter.
We'll never be able to have our daughter in any shape, way, or form, whether she'd be home sitting there without legs or, whatever it is. We just don't have that at all.
However, Ali hopes this teaches all a lesson.
To keep others safe, not only yourself, but you can hurt somebody else, and that's exactly what happened in this accident.
Michaela Armstrong, 17 News.
New details this morning in a child endangerment case in which a 13-month-old boy was administered Narcan after suffering a fentanyl overdose. Sheriff's officials were called to a home on Sunridge Avenue in Taft last week for a report of a child not breathing. Officers found the boy had had shallow breathing and a weak pulse. Deputies performed CPR. Medical personnel arrived and administered Narcan, which reverses the effects of an overdose. The child was taken to the hospital and doctors found fentanyl in his system. His parents now face possible child endangerment charges. However, 17 News is withholding the parents' names as charges have not been filed as of this morning.
Making news around the state later today, President Biden will travel to Santa Clara and Santa Cruz counties to survey areas devastated by our recent storms. Just a few days ago, the president approved an emergency declaration for California, which was expanded to include more counties. That means federal funds will go to the state, tribal, and eligible local governments to help with their recovery efforts. The atmospheric river that pounded the state for weeks unleashed record rain, powerful winds, and significant snow. Officials say the storms caused $1 billion in damage.
This morning, there are new park rangers patrolling Bakersfield. The new program was unveiled yesterday. Park rangers will work with the city to make sure everyone is safe and protect the grounds.
Most of these individuals have over 15, 20 years of law enforcement. They also are very passionate about the people and their community. So already, and we haven't officially had official patrols, but we're doing light patrols and we're making a big impact already.
There are 18 rangers. They don't carry guns, but they do have tactical vests, pepper spray, and collapsible batons.
5:13 is your time now with multiple recounts in the ultra-tight 16th state Senate race now over. The midterm election in Kern County appears to finally have come to a close after David Shepard conceded to Melissa Hurtado. 17th political reporter Maddie Gannon explains.
Two recounts in the hotly contested 16th Senate race. Democratic incumbent Melissa Hurtado officially winning re-election over Republican David Shepard.
I think it is a little bit concerning that, first-time newcomer got this close.
Despite netting 9 votes throughout the recounts, first-time candidate Shepard fell short by just 13.
Often a candidate that comes this close can turn around and run again in a few years and be successful.
The outcome in the 16th draws a contrast, at least along party lines, with the 22nd congressional, 2 districts in the Central Valley that share very similar lines.
Overall, I'm excited.
In the 16th Senate, where Democrats out-register Republicans by 13%, Democrat Hurtado came out on top.
Successes over the last few years.
But in the 22nd congressional, it was Republican David Valadao who won re-election, despite a 17 percentage point Democratic advantage.
A lot of people vote for incumbents. It's just a natural thing they do.
Republican analyst Kathy Abernathy notes the incumbent advantage may have been in play, but there's even more to it when you further break down the numbers in each district.
Both of them were drawn with really a Democratic anchor within Kern County.
As Democratic analyst Neil Sinapa points out, Kern County is the bluest part of both multi-county districts. And while the Democratic candidates came out on top in Kern in both races, Hurtado did over 5 percentage points better in the county than 22nd congressional candidate Democrat Rudy Salas.
Hurtado ran, not an extremely extensive primary campaign, but she did run a campaign. And, folks like Nicole Parra and others really forced her to do that.
Sinapa says Hurtado, facing 2 other Democrats in the primary, forced her to put more money and effort into her campaign before June.
With Rudy, he didn't have any other competition in the field. His name didn't need to be out there in the primary. Valadao, on the other hand, did. He had more opportunities to talk to voters and to connect with them.
This morning, investigators are still trying to track down the gunman responsible for the massacre of 6 people in Tulare County. The shooting happened in the small town of Goshen, which is located just west of Visalia. That is about 75 miles north of Bakersfield. With the suspect still on the loose, people living in the area this morning say they're fearful to leave their homes. Esteban Reynoso has the latest.
Harvest Avenue in Goshen is still blocked off to the public 3 days since the Monday morning massacre that killed 6 people. A small vigil already starting next to the crime scene. A single candle still burning. Even Wednesday, investigators are still looking through the crime scene, collecting over 100 pieces of evidence. We tried reaching out to the family, but they did not want to speak with us on camera. Someone close to the family sent us a quote saying, "We are all hurting right now." And neighbors are hurting too. We spoke with some neighbors in Goshen who also did not want to go on camera, and some told us they are even fearful to step out of their homes. No arrests have been made in connection to the shooting, but officials believe there to be at least 2 gunmen still on the loose. The sheriff's office is hoping to have all of the victims' autopsies done by the end of the week. There will be another press conference on Friday at the Tulare County Sheriff's Office.
Esteban Reynoso reporting. And Tulare County Sheriff Mike Boudreau says various agencies have offered to help with the investigation. That includes the FBI, the ATF, and the DEA, as well as Homeland Security. Investigators are asking those who live and work near the crime scene to look at security videos between the times of 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Monday.
5:36 is your time now. In your 17-court watch, the Kern County District Attorney's Office offers a plea deal to a former sheriff's deputy facing multiple counts of sexual misconduct. Michael Everett Clark has until February 1st to decide if he'll accept the offer. Terms of the deal were not disclosed. The charges against Clark stem from misconduct reported in 2019 when he worked as a deputy. The alleged victims include 2 women who worked at a fast trip store near sheriff's headquarters, a woman who was arrested by Clark, a 4th woman who spoke with Clark at her home after she reported a case of identity theft, and a 5th woman who says Clark offered her a ride home. All of the women accused Clark of engaging in inappropriate behavior, with some saying he touched them against their will. The county settled lawsuits brought by 3 alleged victims for a total of $290,000. Clark remains free on bail.
And a man found guilty of sexually abusing a 13-year-old girl has begun serving his prison sentence. 55-year-old Muhammad Abid Sharif was sentenced to 86 years to life in prison for 13 felonies related to sexual abuse of a child. Court records show the victim and her mother arrived in the United States from Pakistan to live with Sharif back in 2017. Prosecutors say Sharif began showing the girl pornographic videos and soon after started sexually abusing her, using threats to force her to comply. The abuse was reported in 2020, and Sharif was arrested following an investigation by police. This morning, we are learning more about that breaking news of an officer-involved shooting that we talked to you about yesterday on 17 News at Sunrise. A standoff in southwest Bakersfield involving a 59-year-old man and the frequent sound of gunfire finally came to an end 6 hours later, but not before it rattled the nerves of nearby neighbors. 17's Marco Torres reports.
A police standoff, a woman running for her life, and then the shots. This was the chaotic scene as Richard Fido fired multiple rifle rounds at officers, according to Bakersfield police. 3 officers fired back. The shooting happened at a home on Cibola Drive near White Lane in southwest Bakersfield around 9 o'clock at night on Tuesday. Neighbors are all on edge following the barrage of gunfire and the hours-long standoff.
Shots go off. I'm thinking it's fireworks, but next thing you know, we're grabbing our daughter and running to the back room to duck and cover. Just multiple gunshots were just going off, and we didn't know from what direction or anything, so our best case scenario was just to hide in the far corner of our closet.
Officers went to the home Fido lived at for a possible domestic violence call Tuesday night. Kern County is no stranger to domestic violence.
Domestic violence is a horrible incident. It causes extreme trauma in individuals, and it's a lifelong journey for some people to recover. Unfortunately, it is quite a common occurrence. Just last year, BPD and the sheriffs received over 9,000 calls regarding domestic violence.
Fido surrendered to police at about 3 o'clock early Wednesday morning. Neither Fido, the woman, nor officers were struck by gunfire, according to police.
I'm surprised. It's a quiet neighborhood. We've only been living here for 2 years, but I haven't heard anything loud or anything. It's just really quiet.
Marco Torres, 17 News.
The suspect, Richard Firo, was booked on multiple counts of attempted murder and other charges and is due in court tomorrow.
Your time is 5:44, and now to an incident caught on camera and what turned out to be a very interesting night for a local homeowner. Take a look.
They got him out. They got him out. I can't believe it. They got him out.
That's Kern County firefighters rescuing a man from inside a chimney. It happened at a home on Camino Primavera near East Bakersfield High School. You can see the video crews had to cut away at the wall in order to get that man out. He was then taken away on a gurney. The homeowner says police were chasing the man earlier Tuesday night but lost sight of him.
Around 10. My nephew brings the dog in and everybody's going to bed for the night. The dog starts barking at the chimney profusely, very loud, very frantic. My nephew comes out, Luke, and starts hearing a banging coming from the wall right here. Lo and behold, my dad was talking to somebody in the chimney.
The family called 911 and KCSO along with the Kern County Fire Department responded. Vincent Alvarez says the man was freed about 2 hours later, handcuffed and taken to the hospital to be checked out.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.